something happened to me yesterday when I was flying back from Birmingham, or a couple days ago. When I was flying back from Birmingham, it was one of those days. Listen, if you fly as much as I do, there's going to be days where your flight's going to be delayed and you're going to be stuck at the airport. And this was one of those days. And I always say as a stand-up, I'd rather be stuck coming home than going to my show. Because if I'm going to the show, I might miss the show. So I'm trying to fly back home from Birmingham. And I left my hotel at 7:30 in the morning. My flight was at 9:30. Get to the airport. I get on the plane. Everything's going smooth. It's about 9:15. I'm in 3A. The guy in 4A is on his phone. And he's one of those guys that we can hear his whole conversation. He's just loud. I never understood that when people get on the plane and are talking in a regular-ass voice because that tube holds all the volume. And so everyone can hear his conversation. Flight attendant walks by. Sir, you have to turn on your phone about to take off. I don't know if he acknowledged her with a hand wave or anything, but I know he didn't say anything back to her. So then he's on the phone still talking. The pilot gets on the loudspeaker, and this guy doesn't hear the pilot because he's talking so loud on the phone. The pilot says, we have a maintenance issue. We're going to be holding for a few minutes. So whatever. So the flight attendant never came back to say, hey, sir, hang up your phone. So he's still talking. Then the pilot gets on the speaker again and says, we're going to have to deplane. There's a maintenance issue bigger than we thought, and we don't know how long it's going to take, so we gotta figure this out. So this guy's still on the phone. He never registers what the pilot or the flight attendant has said so far over the loudspeaker. He sees everybody standing up, taking off their seatbelts and grabbing their bags, and he goes, now he hangs up. He goes, what's going on? And the guy next to him, keep in mind we're in Birmingham, maintenance issue. He goes, oh, fuck. He said the F-bomb at least 10 times. F this, this is why I don't fly, F in United, right? So now we're getting off, he's just cussing the whole time. If I had my kids, I would have said something. And there was kids on the plane. I'm like, dude, just calm down. Now we're getting off the plane. He looks at the flight attendant and goes, I'm going to miss my layover. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm going to miss my connection. And I was looking at him like, what's she going to do? She's a flight attendant. What's she going to do? So now he gets off the plane, and we don't know how long we're going to be delayed. And he's just pacing back and forth. Now he's on the phone. F-bomb. F this. Goddamn shit. It's just every curse word coming out of his mouth. He's just pacing back and forth. And Birmingham's not a big airport. Then the pilot comes off. He goes, all right, this is the update. The starter blew. This airport and this staff isn't equipped to fix it. So we're going to have to fly the starter in from Houston and the maintenance guys from Houston to fix the plane. It's going to be a couple hours. So I was just like, what are you going to do? I went to Starbucks, got a latte, got on my laptop, and I'm on my app. And this is only my pet peeve with airports. They won't just give you the exact time you're going to leave. It goes in 20-minute increments. At least with United. So it started, we're supposed to leave at 9:30. Then all of a sudden it went 10. Then it went 10:20, 10:40, 11, 11:20, 11:40. I was still at the airport when I'll never forget, it got to 12:20, and then it says 6 p.m. We're not leaving until 6. And I don't know where this guy's at this point. So now I leave the airport. I called an Uber, went downtown Birmingham. They had a cool little outdoor area by the football stadium there and the Topgolf. And I just, sat down, got some Mexican food, and just chilled out outside. It was a nice day out. And then I headed back to the airport. My flight was supposed to leave at 6. We ended up actually leaving at 7. So they switched my seats. So I went from 3A to when I got on the new flight, the new plane that they brought in, I'm in 1F. Why is the wild man sitting right next to me? He gets on the plane. I go, shit. So, and he must have been drinking since the flight got delayed. So he's already on 10. And I go, there's no way this is happening. Because you got to keep in mind, I called 4 or 5 people that day at the airport telling them the story about the guy saying, F this, F this. And he was the guy that really should have got taken off the plane for not listening to the flight attendant in the first place. So now he's lit. He goes, can I get a scotch? And the flight attendant goes, as soon as we take off, sir, I can get you a scotch, whatever you want to drink. And he just sat there for a minute. He goes, excuse me, you think I can get a scotch now? And she goes, I'm not allowed to serve alcohol until we're in the air. He goes, that's not true. I've gotten liquor before. I've gotten liquor before we've taken off. I've gotten drinks on this airline before we've taken off. And the flight attendant goes, sir, I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm just saying I've been trained that you don't serve alcohol until we're in the air. He goes, oh, you just do you then. You do you. And then every time she walked by, he had a smart remark towards her. Pilot steps off. He's like, sir, we're going to have a problem. And I could tell the pilot wanted to kick him off. He goes, I don't want a problem, sir. I will kick you off this plane. You will be banned. I don't want no problems. He goes, there's not going to be no problems. He goes, well, you're giving our flight attendant a hard time. She said you were rude to her. He goes, I was not rude. I just want a drink. And then he was like, I was just supposed to leave at 9:30. And the pilot looked at me, and I just kind of looked like, man, I'd be thrilled if you kicked him off. So they let him stay. By the skin of his teeth, they let him stay. He has 2 scotches while we're in the air. And he keeps trying to look at me like I'm going to co-sign or I want to have a conversation with him. I have my earbuds in. I'm looking out the window, and I was watching a movie. So I was like, I ain't got time. I'm not on your side. I'm not with you on this. So now we're in the air. He passes out, goes to sleep. Pilot gets on. We got bad weather in Houston. We're getting rerouted to Shreveport. I'm like, this is the flight day from hell. This is the longest flight day ever. So you hear the whole plane just go, oh. He's asleep. When we land, he thinks we're in Houston. So when he wakes up, we're in Shreveport, Louisiana. He looks around. He goes, where we at? And the guy next to him goes, we're in Shreveport, weather. So I'm in 1F, he's in 1D. He punches the wall. We got that little wall in front of the little bathroom. He goes, oh, boom. I'm going, there's no way this guy just punched the wall. So now pilot gets on. Yeah, there's bad weather in Houston. We're delayed. The good thing is we were one of the first people to land in Shreveport, as you can see, and there was a line of planes. Everybody got rerouted. So he goes, I don't want to pull into the gate and let you guys off, because if we do that, if weather clears, then we're going to go to the back of the line. As it is, as soon as the weather clears, we're going to be one of the first planes to take off. So he goes, I don't know how long we're going to be here, but the seatbelt sign is off. You guys can use the bathroom, and I'll let you know when we're going to take off. So we're just sitting there. The guy sees the flight attendant, and he goes, can I get some water? And she goes, sure. And he goes, yeah. As the flight attendant said, sure, she's going to get his water. Now he's looking around for people to co-sign with him. He goes, I'm not trying to be an asshole here. I just want a little service. Can we get a little service? And then I'm like, oh, my God, dude. So now we finally take off. And he's trying to tell people, we're going to be stuck here. There's no way we're taking off tonight. It's too late. And then we end up taking off. We land in Houston around 11:15 or something like that. Before we take off from Shreveport to Houston, he's on the phone with United. And I can hear him saying, so what time does my flight to San Antonio take off? And they was like 11:40 or something. I could hear the lady on their line because now I got my earbud out and I'm just listening to this whole conversation. He goes, so what time will I land in San Antonio? 12:34. And then he was like, so I'm going to make my flight. And I guess all the flights were delayed out of Houston. So now, because ours was delayed coming in, his flight couldn't take off. So he's going to be able to make his flight. So he's like, so I'm going to land in San Antonio at 12:34 tonight. I was supposed to land at like 11:30 a.m. And I'm like, they know that. So then he's like, well, God bless you. God bless you then. I was like, I think he wanted bad news. He wanted United to be like, you're not going to make your flight, but they said you are going to make your flight. So now he's mad at the landing when they're going to land at 12:34. We're getting off the plane. Now we land in Houston. We're getting off the plane, and the guy looks at the flight attendant and gives her the bird like this, like right at her nose, like flicked her off. And I was like, and she goes, oh. And I just looked at her. I said, I am so sorry that just happened to you. I was just like, what an ass. I hope they found out. I hope she went to the pilot, and I really hope that they stopped him from getting on that plane to San Antonio. And I hope that guy got banned. So to the flight attendant, I'm sorry if you watch or hear this podcast. And I think what pissed me off, and I almost became a Karen, was the fact that they let you get on the flight. They could have kept your ass in Birmingham. They let you stay on, and your thank you was to flick the flight attendant off for not giving you a scotch. I was like, get a private jet if you don't want to deal. If you fly enough, shit's going to happen. That's what I've learned. And just be nice. Just be nice to the flight attendants. Be nice to the ticket agents because it's not their fault. And I'll tell you this, you get way more better customer service, and you get a lot more perks, and you got people looking out for you if you're just nice and you just make a joke. I've been late for flights, and I got up there, and they go, oh, the flight took off. And it was completely my fault. I remember sometimes I'll get sarcastic. I go, why didn't you hold it? You know I'm more important than everybody else. And they'll look at me, and I'll just start laughing. I go, all right, what's my next flight? If you can just disarm them and then say, like, I always say the most ridiculous shit that when people are upset, that's really what they're feeling. Why didn't you hold the flight? You know I'm the most important person on the planet. I mean, you knew I was on a plane. You know, if anybody's flying and your flight's delayed or you miss it because you're late or anything, just be cool. I'm telling you, those ticket agents, flight attendants, anybody at TSA, the people at not just the ticket agent at the gate, the ticket agent when you first walk in the airport. If you're cool, believe me, they'll work with you.